Hello students, today's agenda is to check your homework. You're going to have a warm-up and you're going to be working on logarithmic functions and you will be able to do 8.12. Today students will be able to graph logarithmic functions. However, the graph is just going to be a sketch because of the growth of the horizontal values. Okay, so for the warm-up, I would like for you to pause the video and work on transferring or converting these values to a root and then to a decimal, okay, with the exponent being a decimal. Okay, so I hope you have them already. If not, remember, pause the video. So for the root, you're going to keep the same base. The numerator is the exponent and the denominator is the index. For the decimal, all you have to do is keep the base and divide the numerator by the denominator. So 2 divided by 3. This is actually one of the ones that I would like for you to memorize because it's just 0.66666. But if not, remember that you can always use your calculator. 2 divided by 3 is 6 infinitely. And so this will be 8 to the 0.6666666 forever. Just put a little line on top of the number and that represents that it's going to go infinitely forever like that. Remember that now calculators round the last digit is just because the next digit is bigger than 5. Again, we keep, and I would like for you to give me the value of this. Now, what number multiplied times itself 3 times is equals to 8? Well, 2 times 4, 2. I group 3 of them and just get the captain. Okay, so that will be equals to 2, but then that's raised to the second power, so the answer will be 4. Okay, so if I was to simplify any of these 3, the answer will be 4. Okay, for this one you keep the same base. The numerator is 1, so the exponent is 1. Index is 2, so the denominator is 2, so the index is 2. And what this means is one number multiplied times itself 2 times is 4, so you just get the captain, so that will be 2. For the decimal form, you just keep the base, divide 1 by 2, and that's 0.5. And again, we know that the answer is 2. Okay. For the next one, we keep the base. Numerator is the exponent. Denominator is the index. And this is asking me, well, let me write this one and then I'll come back to the answer. Keep the same base. Divide 3 by 4 is one of those that I want you to memorize, which is 0.75. One number multiplied times itself 4 times is equals to 16. Well, 4 times 4, 2 times 2, 2 times 2. That means that I need to group 4 of them together, and I only get the captain of that team. That's 2, but then I need to raise it to the third power, and so 2 times 2 times 2 is equals to 8. So my answer will be 8. If you check with your calculator, you can see 16 to the power of 0.75 equals 8. There you go. Okay, 100 to the 1/2. If you recall from previous lessons, Anything to the 1/2 is just like taking the square root of 100, which you know that it's already 10, right? 10 times 10 is 100. So that's only when it's 1/2. But let's see, you keep the same base, 1 and 2. That's what I said. The square root of 100 is 10, which is the answer. Okay, and you just got the captain of that team, which is 10. So in here, you keep the same base. Decimal form is 0.5. Okay, so let me show you with this one. Well, all of them. I can show you that the answer will be 10 on the calculator. 100 to the, remember that we open parentheses, divide inside of the parentheses, we divide 1 divided by 2 and close the parentheses and press equal, so that gives you 10. In here, I can't remember if it's, okay, so 100, but it's the square root of that equals 10, and 100 to the power of 0.5, that equals 10. Okay, so either way, on the calculator, you can figure out that answer. Okay, before we move on, let's do something here near the warm-up. What would be 5 to the negative second power? If we were to write it with positive exponents only, we're going to put it as 1 over 5 to the second power. Remember, anything to the negative power, you just enter the denominator to make the exponent positive. And if we simplify that, it will be 1 over 5 times 5 is 25. So that will be in fraction form. Okay, what about 3 to the negative third? Well, that's 1 over 3 to the third, which is 1 over 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Okay, so take a minute to write that down so that you can just, it's kind of like still review of what you guys have been seeing in the past. Okay, so today you're going to be working a little bit more with logarithms, and we're going to be graphing or sketching their graphs. Okay, and also you're going to be using your calculator a little bit more to find them out. So I'm going to show you one kind of like tricky way to find values for the graph on a table, and also I'm going to show you a trick to make it easier for you. Okay, so when we're trying to find the graph of a logarithm, remember that we have a table for x and y so that we can figure out or find points and be able to graph them on our coordinate plane. However, let's say that we have log base 16 of 256. We call this, the x, our fixed value. And so basically what this means, if this is the value of x, the answer will be our value of y. Okay, so let's say that we have these logs with the base 16. So we're going to put our fixed value in here. So 256, 128, 64, 32, and 16. And these are not the best values to find. That's why I'm going to show you an easier way later on, but I want you to be familiar with these that are a little bit more tricky. And so before we even go into that, I would like for you to come up with values of 2 to the first power, 2 to the second power, 2 to the third power, 2 to the fourth power, etc., etc. So the answers, let me see if I can. The answer for this would be 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. And the reason for which I'm showing you this is because if you notice, these values are right here, okay? And that's going to be important to understand this lesson. But at the same time, again, this is a little too tricky. I'm going to show you an even easier way to graph this logarithm with base 16. Okay, so maybe I'll, whoops, the other way. There you go. So what would be the value? Remember from previous lessons, this is telling me 16 to what power equals 256? And the answer is going to be, well, 16 times 16 is 256. So my y value is going to be 2, because the 16 multiplied times itself 2 times equals 256. Now, if we use a calculator, and let me see, because I'm using 2 different calculators. I think I did it with the last lesson with this one. It's a little bit different, so let me check. So 256, so I'm going to put the fixed value first, log, and then divided by 16 log, and